Hi everybody, welcome to this online workshop, 7 Steps to Successful Grant Applications, and thank you for joining us live. And for those that are watching the recording or watching this on YouTube, hello to you as well. I run this webinar on a fortnightly basis, and I love sharing all things about grants and writing grant applications. So if you have a question and you're on live, please pop it into the chat with the letter Q, and I will endeavour to answer that as we go along. And let's make a start. So who of you here today are small business owners? Pop up your hand if you're a small business owner. Yes, there's a few. And how many of you are just too busy doing everything in your business? Or I know some of you are committee members for not-for-profit and community organisations as well. This is just as applicable to you, trying to juggle everything and get everything done. So when it comes to grants, we know that we already have not much time. We don't know what's going on and we're trying to juggle it all. And when the grants come out, they sometimes have 4 to 6 weeks for application periods. So when you're trying to work out what your project is, when you're trying to work out what you need to go on your application, while also running and doing day-to-day things in your business or organisation, it all just gets way too stressful. So today I'm going to show you how to learn the best tips and sharing my proven process of how I write grant applications with my clients. So my first question to you today is, how much free money are you missing out in grant opportunities? So we don't know what we don't know. We don't know if we're not searching, if we don't know where to look, don't know where to start, or don't know how to write that application. So that is my big question to you today. How many times have you heard from someone else that there was a grant, oh, we missed out, or we applied and we didn't quite get it, or we didn't even make the application because we simply didn't know about it in time? So that is what we're here today to try and help and get on the front foot. So I'm Liz, the Efficiency Coach. I'm a grants writer, grants coach, and I love all things grants. I'm a chartered accountant, and I love to help businesses to learn about grants and to help them grow their business. And my aim for today is you go away with the skills and a toolbox to know how the grants can help your business to grow and what steps you need to be putting in place so that you can write successful grant applications as well. Or alternatively, we can work together to work on your grant strategy, work on your growth strategy, and work out how grants could help your business or organisation to grow, because at the end of the day, that's what we all would love. So I always start this with a geeky admission that I do love writing grant applications. I really treat them like a strategy document and really take the approach that you would to applying for a job or sitting an exam. We just need to make sure we know what questions we're trying to answer, gathering all the information, and then putting our best foot forward. So I have worked in corporate for the last 15 years in the energy sector across New Zealand, Australia, and if we can just go on mute, that'd be great. And London, and here in Australia, I've also done a couple of years in government and in Victoria, and that was where I had my eyes open to how many grants were available. So at the moment in Australia, there are more than 1,500 grants available. That doesn't mean to say that there are 1,500 grants for your organisation or your business, but it does mean that they are out there, and we need to be searching for in the right place for the right criteria so that we can find one for you. And that's what we do. I'm really proud of my success rate in writing grant applications, and I have maintained my 85% success rate over the last 3 years while I've had my business, and last year it got up to 88%. So, you know, I don't just write the grant application with you or for you. We go through the project, we develop that strategy and try and make your project as strong as it can be to fit the criteria so that we have that successful outcome. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. And so we can work together. If the project that you initially had doesn't quite meet the criteria, then we can work together to tweak it and make it a stronger application. So as I've said, grant applications are my thing. So, and we hear it all the time when it comes to small business. Work in your zone of genius. Working out what your zone of genius is the first thing, and then basically outsource the rest in some shape or form. So grants are my thing, strategy is my thing, and so I know some of you have reached out wondering how we can work together, and we will get that opportunity towards the end of this online workshop. But for now, I'm going to start by taking you through my 7 steps to writing successful grant applications. But firstly, this quote is never truer when it comes to grants, and nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Okay, we don't know what we don't know, but how many grants and dollars have we missed out on because we're just simply not putting the effort in, not knowing where to look, not outsourcing it, and not investing in that time and money so that we can grow our business, expand, or just deliver more from a community or not-for-profit organization. So as I've said today, you're all here for the 7 steps to writing successful grant applications. This is the process that I go through with my clients every single day. I don't waver from it, and it works every time. It makes it easier for me, makes it easier for you, and it just reduces that stress when it comes to writing grant applications. And I'm sure some of you have had some experience of writing grant applications, and they have just been stressful, or you've given up, or you've missed the deadline, or for some other reason. So here today, I will step you through my process that works. Now, first of all, it's all about setting up for success. Now, this is going to mean different things for different people and different organisations and different priorities. But basically, we need to get organised. When that grant program is released, as I said, there's normally 4 to 6 weeks, and sometimes even shorter. And you might not even know about it on the first day that it's released. So you might be up to three weeks to get it sorted. Getting all the information. So quite often there'll be the guidelines, there'll be the criteria, there'll be all the templates and the documents, the application form. There might be a webinar to watch. There might be some FAQs. Sometimes there's up to 10 documents that are attached to that grant program being released, and we need to read through all of that and make sure that it works for us. Reading the criteria. Now, I say to people, you can't do this often enough, but up front, we need to work out whether we are eligible, whether our project is eligible, and whether we're going to make the decision to put the effort in to write this application. And this is where we draft our outline. What is it that our project is going to achieve? Does it align with the outcomes of the grant program? And does it fit within the budget dollars as well, which is really, really important. And at this point, right at the start, I create a Word document. This will be from the mainly the application form. That is normally, there's some ways to get it from the portal, but basically a document that we can share with the client, share with people in your organization that are going to help write this grant application. And you're just creating one source of truth, and everybody can have that information at hand, and it just keeps everybody on track. Now, we need to make sure we plan and work out what we're going to put into our project, and taking our Word document and creating that numbered checklist. So this is really, really important, because it'll just step by step itemize everything that has to be there for the grant application. Working out who's going to help you to do this grant application. So if you're a small business, do you have people within your team? Do you need to pull other people in? If you're in an organisation, not-for-profit or a community group, who is going to be part of that group, and who's going to be responsible for leading the grant application process? And it doesn't have to be me, but I do say and recommend that you work with someone that has experience in writing grants, but also has experience in writing successful grants. There is a bit of a knack to writing grants and being successful, because at the end of the day, we want that money in our bank account. So there's no point writing a whole lot of grants and not being successful, and someone saying, oh, I'm really experienced at writing grants. They haven't got the success rate. Then we need to be making sure that we're working with someone that does. And planning to submit 1 to 2 days before the deadline. So we all know things run over if we're relying on other people, but also we just don't want to create that stress right at the end. If the deadline is 11:59 p.m. at night, we don't want to be submitting or even logging into the portal at 11 o'clock to do our submission. So if we can plan for a couple of days ahead and have that buffer, and also we don't know who's on the panel, we don't know how they're going to assess it. And sometimes they literally go by order of submission. So the earlier you get it in, you might be have more chance. And then other times they are just assessing them all, and they have a score assessment system. So, but we just want to give ourselves the best chance of being successful. Now I turn the grant writing application into its own project. So if you're running a business, running a committee, it just becomes another project. And how is this project going to happen? What are we actually going to do within this project? What do we need to plan for? How are we going to allocate these tasks and actions? Who is going to do what? Who is going to be responsible for what? And what costs are involved? You might say, oh, I'm an accountant. Of course, I'm going to worry about the cost. But at the end of the day, when we're wanting grants funds, it's because we want some money or we want something given to us. So we need to know exactly what we're asking for. And that budget is all too important. We also need to make sure that it balances. So just going back on that, we also need to be thinking about who do we need to involve if we were to do this project. So how can we, who can we work with? Who do we already work with? Who can we collaborate with? And how can we strengthen this project? Now, the next step is probably the most important step, because a lot of grant applications ask for a whole lot of supporting documents. And I'm sure all of you have come across this at some point where they've asked for certain things. Sometimes they will ask for business plans. Sometimes they'll ask for everything within your business plan, but they've asked as separate questions. Sometimes they'll ask for your financial statements. But we need to make sure that we know how to get them, and we can also don't have to create them in that 4 weeks in that time frame. So again, going back to the criteria, going back to the guidelines, what are they asking for? Now, every grant application is different, and so we need to be reading it carefully. Some will say that you can attach an extra 10 documents and they don't care what they are. Others will be specific and say, this is what we need, and you can add some more. Others I've seen just say, just give us what we've asked for. We won't be assessing or looking at anything else. So we need to be really careful about that. Now, writing letters of support, and this is one thing that a lot of people actually are unaware of. Again, some grant applications ask for them specifically, and these could be from your partners that you're working with, other businesses, other community groups, but also from people that are going to benefit from this project that you're applying for to go ahead. When you work with me, we actually draft the letters of support in a Word document, and just making it easier for those people to pop it onto their letterhead. They are more than welcome to write in their own words and stuff, but at least, they're not really necessarily gaining anything by doing that right now. And hopefully in the future, when the grant's approved, they will be. But we don't want to increase the administration burden for people that are already busy. But at the end of the day, it can really strengthen your application. So have a think about, if you were to do a project, who would you get those letters of support from? Even whether they're asked for or not. And if we have the opportunity to add other supporting documents, I, more often than not, make sure that there is at least one letter of support, if not 2 or 3. And this letter of support simply says, we as an organisation support this project going ahead because this is going to be a great benefit to XYZ. Now, getting your quotes, and again, everybody is busy, and sometimes people have quite tedious or laborious quoting processes, and so they need a bit of time. And this is where I say it's really important to have that relationship with those suppliers as early as possible. If you can think about what type of project you might apply for, go and get those quotes now. Go and talk to the people that you think you might engage with and say, hey, can you give me a quote now? And then when it comes to the grant application, you could simply say, hey, can you just quickly update that grant or change the date or whatever it might be, rather than having to start the process from scratch. Again, quotes and letters of support, you want to make sure you give good deadlines, because those 2 things are out of your control. And quite often now, the portals are very IT savvy. And if you don't attach quotes or letters of support or any supporting documentation that is being required, you won't be able to press submit, unfortunately. So it is really, really important to know what you're getting. I would get a couple of quotes initially, and even if you only have to submit 1, but at least you've got some backups. Same with the letters of support. Try and send out 4 or 5 requests and hope that you get at least 2 or 3 back so you can attach. Financial reports. So in Australia, most big grants over $50,000 do require that the financial reports of the organisation for the last 3 or 2 years are attached to the grant application. So we need to make sure that our income tax is up to date. We have those financial statements ready to attach, because as I say, if we've only got 4 weeks, we don't want to be running to the accountant to getting those reports. But if you're in Xero, me being a chartered accountant, I can extract those reports for you and sign them off as well. So it is a bit of a one-stop shop when you work with us. And as I said, this is a big step, but it's also getting shit done, getting our quotes, getting those letters of support, and working out what else do we need. Do we need a business plan? Do we need a risk management plan? Quite often you'll need a project plan. Who is going to develop all of that and what needs to be included? The process that I follow is getting the quotes is the most important thing, because then I need to make sure that all the components on the quotes are included in the project plan, and they really dictate how we plan the rest of the project, and that we haven't left anything off. Now, step 5. So I said that I was going to share with you 7 steps, and a lot of people are always surprised that we get to step 5 and we're only just starting to write the draft application. So yes, we can be drafting a little bit and getting ideas in your Word document. That's absolutely fine. But in terms of writing it all in one go, this is the best approach, because you've got everything together. You can bring it all together in one go, and it is the most efficient way of writing it, and making sure we're writing it a week before it's due. Don't start writing it the night before, because trust me, it'll take you longer than you think. So again, looking back at those guidelines, looking at the key criteria to address, who is it benefiting? And through the process of writing this grant application, has our project changed? Have we, we need to be checking that we're still matching the criteria, we're still aligning to the target audience of the grant program, and making sure that that all adds up so that we can have a strong application. Checking and seeing the assessment weighting. So they will give normally an assessment of the main questions that have been answered, but also those percentages will add up to 100%. And then we've also been requested to supply the supporting documents. So in my mind, it doesn't really make sense, but you can at least see what they're going to put a great emphasis on, and making sure that we can write accordingly. Now, one thing when we are devising that Word document at the start is making sure we're checking the word or character limits. Now that we're putting things into the portal, I have found that copying and pasting from the Word document across to the portal, if we've got 550 words and it's only 500, it will chop it all. So we need to be really, really careful. Planes just coming in, so hopefully you can still hear me. Step number 6, we're adding our why and our story. So this is all about writing in a persuasive way and including why our project is the best with the most impact. What is it? Why should they approve our project? And remember, they know nothing about us, they know nothing about our project, and we know nothing about them, so we assume nothing. We need to make sure we're writing the basics in simple language to have the best possible outcome. And again, linking it back to the benefits of the targeted audience, and linking it back to that all-important criteria listed in the guidelines. And now we come to the last step, to review and submit. Now, I always get somebody else to check it and read through grammar and making sure that it's factually correct. So if I'm working with a client, I'll make sure at the end of the day it's their application, their name's on it. So we're going to make sure it's factually correct and that they are agreeing to what that project looks like in the future. And even I get nervous pressing submit. And this is why we don't want to be doing it 10 minutes before it closes, and try to do it in business hours, so that if you do have an issue, you can ring someone and at least get some support, because at midnight, no one's going to be around to help you. And we don't want to do all this work and then not be able to submit it. Nowadays, they will not accept, oh, my computer died, or here's it on email. They just won't accept it. And it's really, really important to celebrate and reflect on this process that you've just gone through, because it is a big task. And also it's a reflection task as well, to think about the achievements of your business and how far you've come. So there we have it, the 7 steps to writing successful grant applications that I use with my clients that has got me my 85% success rate. So if you can just pop in the chat now what your key takeaway was from today, I'd love if you would like to share that with me, because I do this all day, every day, talk all day about grants. And so I really do like to hear what has really resonated with people, where people are at, what surprised them. So if you want to jump into the chat now with any your takeaway from today, or any questions that I can answer in a moment. So yes, the fact that you do have to learn planning and you can't just write it is a really key point on that as well. Yeah, having that plan prior. And I think also if you're working with a committee or an organization, making sure that everyone's in agreement to what you're actually going to apply for, and making sure that it's actually achievable, and that if you were to get that grant, you can actually do it. Because at the end of the day, the money's great, but also if we don't have the resources or the people power to execute it, then, you know, it might not be the best approach for your organization or your business. And also making sure you align it to your strategy. I've seen some businesses just sort of scattergun approach to any grants and, oh, it's money, but, you know, after a few years, they kind of go, oh, we haven't really, you know, made any progress, and we haven't really focused on our core strategy. Shauna, yes, nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. Absolutely. And it's my aim that all the awareness of the grants is out there, that we know that we can apply for them, that we can follow these steps to have that successful outcome and to get that money in your bank account. So these are just some of my clients that I have helped write successful grant applications. And as you can see, they're all across different industries. So my question to you is, what is the difference between these businesses receiving grants and your business? Are you aware of grants that are out there? Do you know what to do when you see a grant, or are you just absolutely have no idea? So that's why you're here today, to learn about that. So if a couple of people have asked how they can work with me, there'll be a chance at the later on to get in contact. And in terms of searching for grants, so if you're in Australia, there are a number of directories that you can sign up for. Some of them are paid. There are also some free ones as well. Or you can join our grants membership and we'll do the searching for you. So here's just some testimonials from a few clients who have had success. Kim and Matt have a Rethink Recycling co-op here in Melbourne, and they have got nearly $60,000, and that's propelled them to move into the education space that allowed them to buy a mobile trailer to educate children, primary school kids, about recycling, and such a worthy cause. Ben and Jessie, their $27,000 grant allowed Ben to work full-time in the business and move it from a side hustle. And Sarah and James have a cabinetry business. They had got a $107,000 grant to buy a CNC router machine, and it's absolutely transformed their business. They were already booked out and at capacity, and now with their machine, they're booked out again, but their capacity has increased threefold. So that's really, really exciting that that grant has absolutely transformed their business. So now I'm going to show you how I can help you and your business to grow and expand with business grants. So here in Australia, there have been a number of recent grants coming out, and especially being the start of the year, government get back into work and they release them all. So some of them, you know, there's ones for events, there's one for putting staff on, there's community ones, there's business ones. That one in the middle, Small Business Specialist Advice Pathways, was at the end of last year, and it basically closed within a couple of days because they were so overwhelmed with applications. But I'm proud to say 5 of my clients were successful in getting that because we literally applied for it the day it came out, because we were searching for grants and were well aware of it. So that's just one of the benefits of working with us. There's some Ready for Growth ones. There's some sporting ones for sporting clubs out there as well. So there are grants for a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean to say that there's always grants for everything at the same time. And we don't know when they're going to be released. And I always say to people, just because the grant program was out last year at a certain time doesn't mean that they're going to come out this year. However, some grants that I was doing this morning, we were just checking up to see whether we've had a successful outcome or not. And they've actually released the next round, and they've actually given some post dates, future dates that we can think about if we want to apply in the future round. So it is worth keeping an eye on the ones that are applicable for your organisation. So some of the questions that I get asked all the time is, can you help me with writing grants? Absolutely. I do love writing grants, but also I want to help people to learn the skill of writing grants as well. But if you don't have time and it doesn't interest you, then we can definitely help you write the grants. As I've mentioned, business plans are good to have in business, your strategy plan, but also if you need it for a grant application, it is really hard to do that in the short amount of time. So I always talk about being grants ready, and I am working with clients to develop their business plans as well. So we can definitely do that. My success rate is 85%. So I've maintained that right from the beginning, and I'm pretty proud of that, and working with clients to get the best outcome and get the strongest project out there. How do I know what I need to read for a grant? So it is about reading the guidelines and deciphering through that, which again is a bit of a knack because it can feel very overwhelming, and also making sure that you meet all the criteria for your organization. Sometimes there can be just the smallest detail that you might not fit the criteria, and then you may not be able to apply. So we just need to make sure that we check that right at the beginning so that we don't waste our time. So what's next? So last year, I had a whole lot of people coming to me saying that they wanted to know about grants and how can we be in the know about grants. And this is why I've created the Grants Club VIP membership. So this is for businesses and organizations to be in the know about grants, where we basically are your funding manager. We take care of searching for grants for you and working with you to work out which grants are the best ones to apply for. So basically you're outsourcing your grant strategy and your grant searching to us. What does the Grants Club VIP membership include? So we do all the hard work and search for those grants for you. We match you with grants that you are eligible for. We share our proven process like we are here to writing grant applications. There's special discounts if you do get your grant applications written by us, and we can also assist you in your business to be grant ready so that when those grant programs come out, you are good to go. There's scheduled events, there's quarterly masterclasses online and recorded. There's other signature programs that we have in the pipeline for 2023. There's a private Facebook group for learning and asking questions with other Grants Club members. And you always get a personalized strategy call with me to get you started. So we want to know the most about your business, and we also want to be able to working out how can you strategize to use the grants to your advantage to grow or expand your business or organization. So as I've just said, these all included more than $5,000 worth of value to your organization. Yes, it is an investment, and I do just want to stress that it is an outsourcing, service, and it is about being in the know, and it is about what's that potential. What are you missing out on by not investing in your organization and business when it comes to grants? So over $5,000 worth of value, but it is priced at $3,000 for the 12-month membership, or monthly payments of $300. So Erica's going to put that link into the chat so that if you are interested and want to have a more detailed look at what we do offer there, please click on that link. And can someone just click on the link and see if it's working? I've had a few website issues this morning, so that would be great. And I would love to have your business. It is for not-for-profits and community organizations as well as for-profit businesses. We don't differentiate between there as long as you pay your membership. Oh, thanks, Felice. It is working. That's great. I'm really proud of the grants membership, and I love what it has created. I was at a conference yesterday with a couple of clients, and they're all buzzing. We're writing a couple of grant applications for their business, and they've really got into it and developing their strategy, working out how they're going to grow, and especially utilizing the grants that are out there that are applicable to their businesses. So you can probably guess that I could talk about grants all day, and I do live and breathe grants, and I do love it. So if you do want to have a chat to me about grants, that can be how the grants membership could work for your business or organization. It could be simply, I'm more than happy to chat with you about how you could find grants for your targeted for your organization. And Erica's going to put the booking link into the chat there as well. I have got some time the next week or so. I just checked this morning, there's a few spots there. So jump on there if you do and have a 20-minute chat. It's completely free and absolutely no obligation. But if you're not sure where your business would sit, whether there are any grants for your businesses or organizations, then I'm happy to chat. And as everyone kept telling me, I could chat about grants all day, which is not too far from the truth. But I think it is about the grants are out there. It's taxpayers' money. There's council, there's state level and federal here in Australia, and I'm sure the same for other countries as well. So, you know, we want to take advantage of that. If we are eligible and we meet the criteria and we have applicable projects that works for us and is part of our strategy, then we need to apply and make use of it. So I mentioned that included in the Grants Club membership are the quarterly masterclasses. These are also open to the public, and we have one coming up in April. So securing grants for business owners, becoming grants ready. So this one really is getting into the detail about what your organization needs to get sorted. Is it your business plan? Is it your financial statements? Is it basically all your organization information so that we're absolutely good to go? And we've got a document, we've got ABN numbers, and also thinking about what projects do we want grants for. If we had $5,000, $10,000 grant, what kind of things could we invest in our business or organization that would make a real impact and a massive difference? So I'm super excited about this masterclass. The link to the Eventbrite is in the chat, sorry. And with the masterclass, it is a paid event, but you can it's online and you can bring 2 people from the same organization. So I'm really about people learning together. And, you know, it is really lonely when you're just the only one that knows that information. So if 2 of you can come along and do it together, then that's all the better. And you only need to buy 1 ticket. So it's basically a 2-for-1 deal if you want to sign up for that. I also do have my free Facebook group that you can be part of just to keep up to date with grant information and other business tips as well. So you can click on the QR code that's on your screen or click on the link that is in the chat. And as I've said at the start, any links and information will be emailed out to you tomorrow along with the recording as well. So you won't miss out if you haven't written anything down today. And I'd absolutely love for you to be in that community and part of that. That is just free, no obligation there either. So we've got a few offers there today. There's the Grants Club membership. And also I do want to say, if you do have a grant that you've already found for your organizational business and you need help writing it, you can absolutely get in touch and we can work out a plan of how we write that together. All of my grant writing services are done by project, and they range from $500 for the most basic of grants up towards $5,000. So I assess every grant depending on what is required, what stage you're up to for your business in terms of what supporting documents you have, and also how long have we got to submit it as well are all factors into how we price that. So if you are interested in the membership, please do get in touch. Do feel free to book in a 20-minute chat as well. I'm happy to talk to anyone about grants. I know a few of you who are online and maybe watch the recording are in America. I'm absolutely happy to work with you as well. And best thing to do is book a chat, 20-minute phone call, and we can work out a planned approach going forward. I do just focus in Australia at the moment because that's where I'm based, but the principles of grant applications are the same the world over. And at the end of the day, I need to extract that information from you as the business owner because you've got all that knowledge, and then we put that into the grant application to submit. So as I've already said, nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity, and I'm all about taking action, being part of that opportunity to grow and expand and see what that brings for the future. So if anyone has any more questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. But thank you for spending the last 40 minutes with me today. I do hope you've learned something. The links and everything will be emailed through tomorrow. And as I say, if you want to have a chat, book it in. Here's my details. Follow me on socials, Insta, Facebook. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. And if you type in Liz Fleming, the Efficiency Coach on YouTube, you'll be able to see the recordings from all the other webinars that I've done recently as well. There's my phone number if you're in Australia, or send me an email. So more than happy to chat. So thank you so much, and I will see you later.